Eating right and exercising daily. I remember that feeling of starting a healthy lifestyle. And when I started, each step felt like a victory. But then life would happen. I was stuck in this cycle of starting and stopping, even though I desperately wanted to be consistent. And if you're like me, you know the struggle too, right? Hello, I'm Pauline, and in today's video, I am going to share with you how I found it difficult to stick with any healthy habit. I will tell you about the three different phases of my life when I was trying to break the cycle and how these phases affected my attempts. The first phase was the dreamer phase, the I want to phase. Second was the go getter phase, like I want to, but I'm so close to my dreams. And then the third phase was the discovery phase. I need to, but my health is in a double bind kind of state. For as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to lead a healthy lifestyle. And during my teenage years, I used to dream of and even believe that if I could just get running every day, then I'd have it all figured out. But then the truth is, I didn't understand back then it's not just exercise. And even if it was just exercise, getting started was the easy part. It was staying consistent that was the real challenge. After my college years were over, I thought this time it was going to be different because I had time. So, with much effort, I dragged myself to the park and began running. For a while, it felt amazing. My breath steadied, I ran longer, and I actually started to enjoy my runs. But then life happened again, as always. A morning engagement disrupted my routine. The time that I was running, I had to do something else. And at that time, I was applying for grad school. And so I told myself, well, this is an important time of my life. This application is more important right now. And it's only for a short period of time. And just like that, another attempt to build the momentum was gone. Does that sound familiar? It's like pushing a boulder uphill, right? It rolls back down each time you take your eyes off it. Now, if you've also been feeling like you're fighting an uphill battle, check out the quiz I've created to help you find out why you might be stuck. The link is in the description below. The quiz is focused on eating strategy, but you can use it for anything. Later during grad school, the story was almost the same, only that this time it was much harder. You know, it's that phase of life when you're trying to achieve your dream. Like maybe for you, you're applying for your dream job, or you're trying to get that promotion, or you're starting your business or your side hustle, or you might have just had your first child or your second child. Things are a lot different. The chronic stress, the constant firefighting, putting out one deadline just in time for another to flare up. I remember one night I was staying up until dawn just to finish a book and present on it and lead a class discussion at 10 a.m. the next morning. Well, this is just an example of how you might be motivated, but you just don't have the time. Life is just too hectic. And then you get further stressed about not doing the right thing. And during that time, eating healthy was really a pipe dream for me. Grocery shopping, well, I could barely squeeze in sleep, let alone a trip to the stores. One day I was working to meet a tight deadline without a second to spare, and I was already sick of eating the ordered foods. I was literally having stomach cramps. So, fueled with coffee, I must have been so absorbed in my work that I didn't even realize that I had run out of food. When I was hungry, I opened my fridge door to find it empty. I had no car or time to go get some grocery from the store. It was urgent. So thankfully, my friends lived next door and they came to my rescue. Whenever I had time to spare, like after a break or a holiday, I'd always promise myself that this is it. This time I'm sticking with it. But then I'd find myself right back in the same place in a few weeks, feeling drained, out of gas, heavier both in body and spirit. Within the first few years, I had gained about 30 kgs, which is about 66 pounds. And here's the thing though, for me, maintaining my weight is like walking a tightrope. I gain weight very easily, and no matter how hard I try, um, then I might be eating well, exercising, and living a generally healthy life. I can just maintain my weight. So the moment I lose focus, the weight just piles on. It's like trying to hold sand in your hand, it just slips away. But here's where things started to shift for me. I was sitting across from my doctor, staring at my blood report that scared me. Everything was off. It felt like my body was throwing up red flags, waving for attention. I had just finished my exams and I finally had a moment to breathe, to go see a doctor. At the time, I'd just gotten back into running again. I had to move internationally for my research, so the 5K runs stopped, and once again, I was looking at my health slip away. But this time it was different. I knew something had to change, and it wasn't just about exercising more or trying harder. I started experimenting different ways, and I started to figure out that my body had its own battles. I was diagnosed with hypermobility syndrome. Uh, where my joints easily get injured, and possibly PCOS, which makes gaining weight fast and losing it, well, extremely difficult. So I was stuck in a double bind. I needed to find a way to stay healthy, but the very effort to stay consistent kept causing injuries and forcing me to stop. It was like trying to swim against the tide, no matter how hard I kicked, and I felt like I was drowning in my effort. And that's when I realized this wasn't a battle I could win with willpower alone. If you're frustrated like I was at this point, leave a comment below. What problems are you facing when you're wanting to make a positive change to regain control of your health, but you're just being stuck in the cycle of starting and stopping and losing that momentum like I used to? And of course, things are beyond your control. Also, don't forget to grab the resource that could be a start of your success. You can discover the roadblocks that may be keeping you from succeeding. Check out the free resource in the link in the description below. The saga of my failed habit cycle. The dreamer, when I thought I had a whole life ahead of me and a healthy life meant I went for running every day. And then there was the go getter. When I was firefighting, it was a time when I was so close to my dreams, but I didn't realize how slowly I was drifting away from my health. And then the discoverer phase, when I tried again only to discover that you cannot take your health for granted and how it takes just a short time to let it all crumble. I discovered that my body that I took for granted was in a double bind. Of these phases, I was at different locations in the world and also in different points of my life. The common point was my inner desire. I really wanted to get my life together. And every time there was this constant feeling of, I know what's right for me. Just why am I missing this one piece of the puzzle? Where can I find it? You might be wondering, what lessons do we get out of this experience? What's the point? You might be thinking, can we even break the cycle at all? If yes, how do we disrupt this pattern? Well, it all starts with watching this video next over here. I will share with you an important lesson that I learned from my failures, because when you pair what you just learned with lessons from these experiences in the upcoming video, it will be way more powerful. See you in the next video.